Everyone, welcome to my channel GSP Studies. First of all, congratulations to all the qualified candidates and keep practicing with us. Get ready for the dictation. 5 seconds. Start. Mr. Speaker said, through this appropriation bill, the government seeks authorization from Parliament to spend a large sum, and the Parliament does not normally grudge sanctioning this amount. But we have two grievances. One is that this amount, which is so large, is not husbanded properly. In other words, there is a lot of wastage which the government has not been able to stop. Secondly, the most important problems of the country have not received adequate attention of the government. One such problem is the problem of population growth, and for the family planning, the finance minister has allotted in the budget only a sum of rupees 150 crores, which by any standard is very inadequate. Said the result of the recent census must have caused a serious concern to the government because we have 130 million people to our population. In some states, the program of family planning has succeeded, while in others it has not succeeded. In fact, it has gone in the reverse direction. Para. Sir, it is said that female education and female literacy help in family planning. But unfortunately, this has not been borne out by the results of the census. Sir, actually, female literacy increased by 7%, male literacy has increased by 5%, and yet our population growth has remained unabated. Hence, resources invested in family planning should not be considered as an expenditure, but it should be considered as an investment. In this connection, may I give you two very interesting findings which have been given by the Indian Foundation for Development. One is a static population takes 12 years to double its per capita income with a growth rate of 5%. If the population growth rate is 2% per year, it will take 23 years. If the gross national product is 4%, it will take 43 years to double. Para. The second finding is this. Even now, the number of people living below the poverty line is between 450 and 60%. This foundation says that by the end of the country, when the population would rise up to 1000 million, 9 out of 10 people would be living below the poverty line. Therefore, this is a very serious matter, and it indicates how urgent this problem is and what should be done. This is a major national problem which cannot be left alone. This has to be tackled quickly. A certain amount of compulsion is inevitable for its success, but this compulsion should come with the popular sanction of Parliament and the state assemblies. In this connection, there is a strange and a paradoxical situation. On the one hand, our savings have increased from 13% to 24% in the last decade. On the other hand, we find that the number of people living below the poverty line is increasing. What are the specific reasons? Para. Secondly, I suggest that the government should give special incentives to industrial units for shifting from oil to coal, from the consumption of oil to coal. Unfortunately, what we find is that the government itself is going the other way regarding shifting from coal to oil. Recently, the petroleum minister said that for fertilizer production, they have shifted from lignite to coal. Para. Sir, I want to say a few words about the plan. My point is that this budget which the Honorable Minister has presented is not quite in consonance with the strategy of the plan. I will give two examples. The one is the plan document says that the subsidy would be gradually reduced, substantially reduced. But in this very budget, instead of reducing the subsidy, we find the subsidies under all the heads have been increased. If you want, I will give you the figures. Instead of going towards meeting the program as enunciated in the plan, we are going in the opposite direction. Para. The other point which has also been mentioned by my friend is about deficit financing. What you have provided in the plan for deficit financing is rupees 5,000 crores for a period of 5 years. In the first 2 years, we would have easily exhausted more than rupees 4,000 crores, leaving behind hardly rupees 1,000 crores to cover the remaining period of 3 years. Not only the present finance minister, but even his predecessor seem to have come to the conclusion that rupees 2,000 crores of deficit every year is a reasonable and safe amount which our economy can absorb. I think this is a very dangerous estimate or assessment that they have made. With this deficit, you can never control inflation. In fact, inflation will go on rising. At some time, in some weeks, it may appear that there is fall in the consumer price index. But if you examine it on a continuous basis, you will find that the prices with this type of deficit financing can never come down. Para. Sir, this is a lot of wastage in our government expenditure. Government treats this planned expenditure as sacrosanct or a scared cow. There is corruption is planned spending also. I would request the government to take care to economize where possible and see what can be done in this regard. I would also mention that our planned projects are not properly implemented. The plans are imaginative, our programs are realistic, and our projects are practical. But their implementation is not only defective but positively poor. Last year, I had given several examples of how the original estimates of different projects went away. There is not a single project which has been implemented in the same cost estimates as originally prepared. There are very few which were implemented within the time originally stipulated. I think there is enough scope for the government to examine this thing and see what can be done. I can give you examples of this stuff. এই প্যাসেজের স্ট্রোক এবং পিডিএফ পেতে টেলিগ্রাম গ্রুপে জয়েন করুন এবং ভিডিওটি ভালো লেগে থাকলে লাইক শেয়ার এবং সাবস্ক্রাইব করে পাশে থাকা বেল আইকনটি প্রেস করে রাখুন সবার আগে নোটিফিকেশান পেতে। থ্যাঙ্কস ফর ওয়াচিং।